going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be ranking all legendary characters in the game, all 23 of them from best to worst. Now, I want to keep something in mind. This is just relative rankings to each other. Does not necessarily mean these legendary characters are bad. It just means that some are weaker than others. So this does not mean, hey, if they're at the bottom tier, they are absolutely terrible characters, you shouldn't be getting them. You should be getting them because they're legendary characters. They're going to be viable some way, shape, or form, but we have to give a relative ranking here. So that's what I want to say first off. And also, if you guys want to make your own tier ranking of this, there is a link going to be down below. It's going to be in the pinned comments. I did have someone ask for the last tier ranking if I can make this a public list. This time it is going to be a public list. So that's what we're going to be working on with this one today. So we're going to break it down here. If you guys do enjoy this video, make sure that like button, subscribe to the channel. And let's start by talking about R2-D2. I'm going to say pretty darn good. Now, if it wasn't for Leia Organa, this droid would be down here towards the bottom. The problem is that without Leia, R2-D2 struggles to find a place on a team. It used to be with CLS, but then we just constantly get better and better characters that fit onto that team. You can get some use with him back on like the Padme Amidala team back in the day. There is some use with him with a Jedi training raid team, but even then that wasn't viable. There's better options. Leia really does save R2-D2, and at the same time, R2 is like the lifter for a Leia Organa team, because just with his number crunch Zeta provides huge boosts to the stats when combined with the uniques with Leia Organa. Big boost there with her and with R2-D2. Really two characters that work hand in hand. Right hand droid for Leia. That really does save it here. Not one of the best characters because he's not like making a team, but he does provide significant boosts. That Leia Organa team makes up an incredibly good Galactic Legend team that dominates a lot of game modes. Without R2, that Leia Organa team really does not work as well. Baylan Skoll, just one of the best legendary characters we have in the game, one of the newest ones as well. But he is an absolute menace with his mercenary team. The two other main characters on his team being Shin Hati and Marok. Either Marok or Marok. I'm still not sure which way we pronounce that. But yeah, Baylan Skoll, any non-galactic legend Ahsoka that he faces, he pretty much guarantees a win against that team. So Jedi Master Kenobi teams very easily defeats them, also counters the foresight on them. If someone is foolish enough to bring a Fulcrum Ahsoka onto a Galactic Legend Ahsoka team, wipes out that Galactic Legend Ahsoka team. Any raid team that's got a Fulcrum Ahsoka on it or a Snips Ahsoka beats that. Beats a wide variety of non-galactic legend teams as well, and is a pretty solid team on defense. Does have some issues with turn meter manipulation that can cause issues with him. If the other team can get a lot of turn meter manipulation, they can easily counter Baylan, but at the same time, he is at least a threat on defense, but normally we're saving him on offense, just crushes a lot of teams. The three main characters with him, Shin, and with Marok, very strong there with a couple other mercenary teams. Very, very good, and as a lead for that team, really makes that mercenary team click. Next up is BB-8. We're going to put him down, sad droid noises. When's the last time you used BB-8 that wasn't, if it really, you know, at the same time, I'm going to put JTR down here, Jedi Training Ray. The issue is that both of these characters back in the day used to be very good. The meta team. BB-8 with his wiggle and constantly giving the buffs to his team. And then he has his big Illuminated Destiny buff or move that exposes the enemy team and gives all sorts of buffs to your team. Really, really great. Great inside of the tank raid. Absolutely dominated that. JTR with her lead and resistance characters were very good inside of phase 1 of the Sith raid. But these days you have the Galactic Legend raid team, and then you have Finn with that team. And Finn and Poe are both mainstays on the Jedi Training raid team, and they've been pulled off to use with the Zori Bliss team, with her being a lift for that Finn lead and his Zeta. Yeah, the JTR team has really been broken apart, and by proxy, BB-8 suffers in the same way. BB-8 and JTR can both be used on a Galactic Legend raid team, but there's also really good other viable options to use on that team as well. So it's one where you can use them on Rey, but if you're not even using them on Rey at that point, you're not really having a home for them, and that's really unfortunate. Maybe down the road we get more resistance characters that do make these two characters viable again as something that we can really get another viable resistance team running again. because Rey's kind of become a Swiss Army knife with you're throwing like Ezra in, you're throwing in Ben Solo. He's not even a resistance team with Galactic Legend Rey anymore. Moving on, we've got C-3PO, and I would say he's a middle tier. I hate average doesn't sound as great. I would say he's a solid character here. He's part of the CLS team. We're gonna put Chewbacca here, and I'm gonna put, where is CLS? I'll put CLS in pretty darn good. So Chewbacca and C-3PO work very well with that CLS team. C-3PO has some great viability with other teams back in the day with Padme Amidala. You can use courage in weird ways with C-3PO to even get him to attack the enemy team. It's really weird. I don't know if they ever fixed those mechanics or not. But yeah, you could stack up the courage on C-3PO and just unleash him on an enemy. And then, yeah, you have the stacks of confusion with him, the translation, all that's really cool. That all fits really well on the CLS team. The Padme Amidala Galactic Republic team has been torn apart, which we'll get to Padme here in a minute. But yeah, C-3PO fits into that CLS team. You can use him in a variety of other factions like you can with R2-D2, but R2 is lifted by virtue of being a lifter of Leia Organa, and C-3PO, without that CLS team, doesn't quite reach that viability anymore. CLS makes him, but C-3PO brings a lot to that team with the translation, with the confusion, and the exposes on basics with Rebels. Now, Chewbacca at the same time does huge damage with his basic already, and now you get exposed on top of it. AoE Dispel, a targeted stun, but also the guard mechanic. The guard mechanic is still one unique buff to him that you do get right now at the Focus Datacron with the Phoenix team with Kanan and Hera. But beyond that, the only character that can give guard in this team, or in this game right now, is Chewbacca, and that is really cool. It prevents the guarded enemy from being critically hit. You can manipulate this in different ways. Han Solo gets it by default, but normally, if you mod your team correctly, CLS gets it as well, and CLS is going to move fast. You can use Terminator manipulation with him, but Chewbacca really, with that guard buff, is really cool, and I appreciate that. Very good team with that CLS team. And then CLS with his lead, why he's up here is that his lead is very versatile for Rebels in general. Before we had the Chewbacca and C-3PO and Chewpio, C-3PO and Chewbacca marquee character, you were using a variety of other legendary, or not legendary, but a variety of other Rebel characters with him. Biggs and Wedge, or as we called Wigs, worked with him. Chase, which was Chirrut and Baze, also worked with him. Han Solo always worked on this team. R2-D2 was a mainstay on this team too. We had Princess Leia at some point working with this. Old Ben. I mean, there was some really cool Rebel teams we were running back in the day when CLS was the meta. And still to this day, that Rebel lead with CLS is versatile in that if you don't have legendaries like Chewbacca, like C-3PO, you can throw some other Rebels in there and get a viable Rebel team. I remember back in the day, I was even using the Zeta Pal before we got Mon Mothma. I was using Zeta Pal on the team because of the counters and the assists was helping to at least make Pal viable at that point. So we got something there with Pal, but yeah, this just a really good lead for Rebels, a very versatile character here. So moving on, let's put Malak up here in pretty darn good, and we're gonna put Revan in average. Now, the reason why I've got Malak above Revan is that without Malak, Revan does not work. When we first got Revan, it felt off. Like the team really did not lift it above the Jedi Knight Revan. We had Jedi Knight Revan lead at the time. That was our meta. Darth Revan came in next, and he could counter Jedi Knight Revan, but it didn't quite work well. There was something missing, and that was survivability, and that's where Malak came in. And that was like I think our first epic confrontation event where we had to use a Jedi Knight Revan team and a Darth Revan team to be able to get to Malak. And I remember the Jedi Knight Revan one being significantly harder than Malak. And you know what? Just for poops and laughs, we're gonna put, since they're all tied together, we're gonna put Jedi Knight Revan in pretty darn good as well. But the Revan and Malak, they go hand in hand. Malak is like the lifter to Darth Revan. And because you have to rely on Malak to make the Darth Revan lead team work, that's why he's down here at average. Now, Malgus has made the team better, and you can still use the Darth Revan lead with Malgus on the team, but Malgus is just hands down a better lead for most cases. Malak is still a pretty solid character here, and really a really cool kit here. That was the first time I think where we got converts all protection to health. The fact that he can fear on when he's critically hit, which is huge. He gets several bonus turns based on his missing health. He can steal max health from the enemy target and heal himself back up, and then he gains bonuses with bonus offense, applies a tenacity down on a basic. Dude's got a really great kit, and that was a threat for a long time where until we got General Skywalker, Malak under that Darth Revan lead was really the meta, and it was annoying. It was all about speed, who could go first. And yeah, this Malak made the Revan team, so that's why he's up here. And next up, Jedi Revan. So why I've gotten up here and pretty darn good is that if you don't have Jedi Master Luke, this is the next best Jedi lead you're going to have in the game. But even when you're not using him as a lead, this man is versatile in a ton of Jedi teams out there. You lose a little bit of synergy with like a Qui-Gon Jinn team where you got to have the Galactic Republic Jedi around him. But this dude is fantastic plug and play for Jedi teams. The fact that he can call mass assist, his lead is kind of the prototypical Jedi Master Luke. What we see with the Jedi Knight Revan lead is what we build up to in terms of what we get with the Jedi Master kit, in that like the inherited teachings, mass assist that you get with Jedi Master Luke, we get that here with Jedi Knight Revan as well. The fact that you can cleanse and heal, you can swap turn meter. They're the direct focus, the ability to ignore taunts, the mass assist. You're starting to see shades of that Jedi Knight Revan kit leak into the Jedi Master Luke kit. And, you know, that's great because the Jedi Knight Revan kit overall is great. Really the first time we started to worry about pay to win kind of leads, because that was the first time you had to really wail to get the legendary the first go around. But he's great, very versatile with plug and play and Jedi teams. Yeah, pretty darn good. And also Dr. Aphra, pretty darn good. You know, I may put her up here in best legendary characters because of what we got with the new refund and cheaper prices for those Omicrons. With her, you get a 5v5 Omicron. With her droids, you get 3v3 Omicrons. Very cheap Omicrons, relatively speaking, only 10 per. And with that, you're going to be able to get some nice use out of them. You can get 2 different Omicrons for the price of 1 regular Omicron, which is great. But yeah, like she's able to beat Jabba the Hutt teams on offense. She can still be a little bit of a threat on defense, though CLS can beat her. But she's a solid offensive character, can really get you some nice wins on offense, especially being able to counter a Galactic Legend. That's always a win in my book. Next up is General Skywalker, just one of the best legendary characters. The fact that this dude came out, what, 5 years ago, 6 years ago? It was before COVID. This dude came out, and still to this day, the 501st team is incredibly versatile. Still a lot of lasting power with this. Now, granted, some of it may be from the fact that people are taking him to high relics because the Jedi Master Kenobi Galactic Legends, but you get a lot of power with the 501st team. They get very strong power against teams with lots of buffs where they get stacking crit damage as the enemy team gets a lot of buffs. That's always helpful. The fact that you can't kill the clones around him until General Skywalker is down, which means you pack him to the gills with protection and just make him super tanky. Yeah, like I love the 501st team. It's a really unique kit as well. It's basically a raid boss encounter with the 501st team. You have to topple Anakin, you have to kill the clones, and then you have to deal with a souped up Anakin who's basically in an enraged phase at that point and is hitting super hard. So I love the General Skywalker, the 501st team. Still versatile to this day. Great on offense, not so good on defense. Not going to win you a lot of banners. Maybe at some point we get a 501st lifter to give us some protection regeneration, at which point if we do, watch out because that 501st team is going to be nuts. But yeah, still 501st on its own, very good. That General Skywalker lead makes that team viable, makes up a very good team for Territory War and Grand Arena, just really good overall. Poor old Grand Inquisitor, man. Where to start with this dude? Yeah, so this is right into the same problem where R2-D2 is, in that, you know, without Reva, Grand Inquisitor is nothing. But He's not he does make the team better, but the fact that we get this dude, he's very expensive to get, and if you don't have Reva, the Inquisitor team is bad. It's bad. You can beat some Jedi-led teams. You can beat Jedi Master Luke on defense. You can beat Qui-Gon Jinn on defense. You get demolished by Jedi Master Kenobi teams on defense. This guy was supposed to make the Inquisitor team good, and he just didn't. And it took us how long before we got Reva? In fact, I think about the time I came back was when people were starting to get Reva. And yeah, like, no, Reva, I think Reva was available before I came back. But yeah, just very lacking legendary character. Like, just disappointing kit, does not bring the damage to the table, has to have Reva as the lead and her uniques to make this guy work, which should not be a thing for a legendary character. Like, just a bad legendary, frustrating event. I'm gonna put him at the bottom. You know, do I just make a new tier that just says Grand Inquisitor? Like, this dude was just I mean, yeah, like I said, like I've already mentioned several times, Reva makes him much better, but the fact that what you have to go through to get this guy, and just how bad the Inquisitor team was even with him on there, just, man, it really is disappointing. Next up, Jar Jar, one of the better legendary characters, the Gungans. Strong team on defense where you have to have a few dedicated counters. Bo-Katan Mandalorian with her Mandalorians, probably going to be your dedicated Gungan counter, because we are finding she's not able to beat Lord Vader with the new Dark Side clones. But very strong on defense, requiring strong teams to beat them on defense. Then you can throw them on offense, and you can beat some Galactic Legends. You can beat Jabba the Hutt, which is one I've got to try at some point. You can beat your Rey teams without Ezra, from what I understand. You can beat her as well with this. So strong viability on offense as well. Does have some issues in terms of like fighting Inquisitors. But yeah, it can be a strong team for you on offense. Can be viable or very strong on defense as well. Very good there inside of Grand Arena. You got some Territory War Omicrons. But Jar Jar really does kind of make the team go between his uniques. The fact he can throw out that frustration ability, the plasma generator getting extra stacks based on the relic amplifier level of Jar Jar, really does make the Gungans go to another level. They're good, but once Jar Jar's on the team, oh, those Gungans are a nasty piece of work, man. They are deadly. And you know what? We're going to have another great legendary character up here as well, and that's going to be Cal Kestis. Cal Kestis, great lifter for Jedi Master Luke, hands down the best territory battle Omicron, which not necessarily just says a lot, but this dude, you put him as a lead with his Omicron, you throw some scraps of other teams on there, and this dude just kind of carries the team through. His instant defeat ability really did bring a new level of power to that Jedi Master Luke team as well. But even beyond that, like, you've got him for the Zepho bonus missions, where using him, I recommend you use him with Seer Junda to unlock the Zephos bonus missions as well. So you get the extra Chirotech and get 3 currency every 2 weeks with him, with him and Seer unlocking Zepho. You can use regular Cal, but Jedi Knight Cal makes it so much easier. And also a relatively easy legendary to get too. You just need Gear 12 on Marin, Seer, Saw Gerrera, Tarful. You get the Gear 12 on them, and you can kind of cruise through that. I didn't even need Zetas on these characters to get him unlocked. Very easy, also Jedi Cal, or regular Cal as well. But yeah, that was a really easy legendary event that gets you a very strong territory battle lead, gets you a very strong Jedi character that really does provide a nice lift to that Jedi Master Luke team as well. You're going to get a lot of use out of Jedi Knight Cal, no matter where you're using him. Very versatile. One of the more versatile legendaries we have in the game, just because of what he can bring with his kit, his lead, everything. Love it. Fantastic character. Pretty darn good. I'm gonna put him as average. So Jedi Knight Luke, if his lead was better, I put him in pretty darn good. The issue with his lead is that you have to get to his turn in order to make this work. So his lead basically sets the whole board to his speed. The problem is he has to get to his first turn. Once he gets to his first turn and everybody's at the same speed, that's pretty good. But the problem is you have to get there. And in a game where speed is king, that is a big if. That's a big vulnerability with his lead. You don't use that lead a lot. You're usually using him under a Jedi Master Luke lead. And then even then, if you don't have Luke, you're then using him probably under a Jedi Knight Revan lead, just better there. Now, he does have some great stuff in his kit. The fact that he can counter, and then his basic counter will dispel buffs, meaning that you can use him to dispel taunt on a tank and then blow the team wide open to get destroyed. The AoE stun plus vulnerable on his second special is fantastic. AoE stuns, mwah, chef's kiss. I love that. Don't have enough of those in the game. He's one of the few that does an AoE stun that's pretty much guaranteed. It's great. I love it. But yeah, if that lead was better, I'd definitely take him up a tier. He needs a better lead, and you know what? I'm gonna put him right there underneath Revan. Next up is Bo-Katan Mandalorian, one of the better legendary characters in the game. Really makes that Mandalore team go, and you know, really makes the Beskar Mando a viable character, in that she really lifts Beskar Mando with his Whistling Birds. Without her lead and how she works with her kit, the Whistling Birds on Beskar Mando doesn't really do a lot. You really need that boost in damage, and that's what Bo-Katan Mandalore brought to the table with him. In that, you get that viability here with him. You know what? I'm thinking maybe I put Aphra pretty darn good. I think I'm gonna put Aphra pretty darn good. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. But yeah, Bo-Katan Mandalore, the Mandalorian's very strong. Not going to be able to beat Lord Vader with the Dark Side clones, but still dedicated Gungan counter. The fact that she can cleanse and call double mass assist. She can give bonus turns if they can't assist. She can apply armor shred on her second basic or second special. Her lead's very good in giving bonus stats to the team. She gets extra stats with Mandalorian. Like it's great. The whole team works really well. She lifts the Mandalorian team, makes them work. And yeah, I think really just gives us one of the better GAC teams we have, especially for a non-Galactic Legend team. Just one of the better offensive Galactic Legend or non-Galactic Legend teams we have inside of GAC. Padme Amidala, I'm gonna put her at second to lowest. Now, I do want to say, for early to mid-game players, absolutely fantastic character. You're gonna get a lot of use out of her. The team that you build up around her with General Kenobi, Jedi Knight Anakin, Ahsoka, C-3PO, you can bring in R2-D2. The Courage mechanic with her, with doing max out damage to the enemy team, that you can combine that with Moff Gideon, that's great. Like, that's some really cheesy stuff, and I love it. I love it, absolutely love it. The fact of that she is immune to fear, that kind of gave us the first crack in the Darth Revan meta, where you could keep her real slow, and then you could cleanse all the negative effects on your team, and just build up stupid amounts of courage, and just wipe out the Darth Revan team. Fantastic. I loved it. It was very cheesy. It was great. But these days, especially you get into the end game, that team gets pulled apart. General Kenobi goes to your Jedi Master Kenobi. C-3PO goes to CLS. Ahsoka snips, usually going with Jedi Master Kenobi, or going with some other Jedi team or Galactic Republic team. Usually not using her a lot with Padme Amidala. And then Jedi Knight, or did I mention Jedi Knight Anakin already? If I haven't, he goes to the Qui-Gon Jinn team for Grand Arena too. So her team has basically been pulled apart, and she kind of sits there. And then occasionally we get something like Moff Gideon, where you can manipulate the stacks of courage with the bonus protection. You can find some kind of mechanic there to exploit, and that gives her some power. But these days, especially pushing the end game, really loses a lot of steam. So great if this was like early to mid game stuff, like she'd be way up the list. But as we go later and later to the game, her power really falls off, and she's not as viable as she would be before. Still gonna have uses for her. Like, she's not at the level of BB-8, where BB-8 usually sits on the bench unless you don't have better characters thrown on that Galactic Legend raid team, or a Grand Inquisitor who has to rely on Reva. There is some power with Padme here. So, you know, I'm going to put her above Beskar Mando, if I can, if it's going to let me. But, yeah, still one of the weaker legendary characters in the game, in my opinion. Next up is going to be Palpatine. I'm going to put him as average. Now, the reason that the issue is Starkiller really does lift, and we're going to put Starkiller up here as one of the better legendary characters anyways. Yeah, if we had to arrange these, man, do I put... No, I put Jedi Cal. You know, I'm going to put Jedi Cal above Starkiller. Yeah, I think I'm good with that. We'll get back to talking about Palpatine and Starkiller here in a second. Yeah, I think I'm pretty good on that. I'm gonna put him there. Palpatine in middle of tier 3. Yeah, I feel pretty good about that. All right, so Palpatine and Starkiller. So Starkiller makes the Palpatine lead really viable as a good endgame team. We are starting to see in Kyber that the Starkiller team is being pulled off defense. You're starting to put Starkiller on Ufu teams with Seer Junda and Terran Malicos. That's what people seem to be doing in Kyber. So I don't know if in another year we're going to see Starkiller teams at the level they are now. We're seeing a lot of Rey counters come out. And that is what we usually use Starkiller for, to be a Rey counter. But there's so many Galactic Legend Rey counter teams coming out these days. The Unaligned Force user team, especially if you throw Starkiller on that, works just as well. Palpatine still has a very strong lead, able to give bonus healing to Sith as they apply debuffs, bonus turn meter to Empire characters as they apply debuffs. Great lead there. Has some nice synergy with Darth Vader in that regard, but it's still one that, yeah, he's not at the level of other legendaries, and that I think is unfortunate for him. Able to be easily countered by a lot of teams out there, especially Starkiller teams on defense. That lead on Palpatine's not really going to save him. So Palpatine, I'd say, is about middle of the pack. And Starkiller is still one of the better ones just because of the power he brings to the table. But Palpatine really does rely on that Starkiller to be there to really make that team work. Do have some nice synergy with Mara Jade as well. But I think until we get better Empire characters in the future, I think Palpatine really, outside of a Starkiller team, you're not using him a lot. Now next up is going to be Grand Admiral Thrawn. And man, what a way this dude has fallen off. So back when I left, Fracture worked against Galactic Legend characters, and when I came back and I went to use him to fracture a Galactic Legend character and it didn't work, I was like, what the heck is going on? So I had no idea. I had missed out on the big nerf of Thrawn and Gas and other viable Galactic Legend counters. So yeah, when I came back, it was a shock to suddenly see that Fracture did not freeze up a Galactic Legend. So without that Fracture, man, that really has destroyed the power of Thrawn. You still have a decent lead there, but again, the same thing with Palpatine, where Palpatine at least has Starkiller to make Palpatine useful. Thrawn's got a capital ship, but that means you're just throwing mods on him and throwing gear on him. You're not really using him in a character kind of capacity here. You're just gearing him up so that his ship's better and the Imperial fleet's better. As a character himself, the Fracture nerf really does suck. It does work against non-Galactic Legends, and you have a decent Empire lead there, but there's not a lot you're going to be using him on. And especially now that Lord Vader has his Dark Side clones, Thrawn's really lost the one viable home he had with the team. Without that Lord Vader lead with him, like, Thrawn really does drop off in power. So, you know, I may throw him in sad droid noises, which hurts, because, man, this character is great. And, dude, that music that plays when you fight Thrawn in his legendary event, oh, mwah, chef's kiss. That music is legit. I am a big sucker for organ music. And just the organ blaring with the theme of him, man. I would sing it right now, but I don't want to get copyright struck. But yeah, that music, if you haven't had a chance to, go listen to the music as you fight Thrawn. Oh, such good music. Next up is, and finally, we're going to have Grandmaster Yoda. You know what? He's a solid Jedi. Now, the other day, I did say I would love to see a rework for Grandmaster Yoda, and that's solely because he is the one legendary on this whole team, on this whole list here, does not have a unique. He has gotten a rework back when the Sith Raid first came out, made him more viable, but you can fit him on the Galactic Republic team. But when's the last time you used his lead? You know, it's like the same thing with Jedi Knight Luke, where their leads just aren't that great. And it's Grandmaster Yoda. Like, we gotta make him viable again as a lead here, and that, I think, would be helpful. Give a nice boost to his lead, make his unique work better, where he gets, like, bonuses with Galactic Republic Jedi or something. But even then, you still got places you're gonna use him on. Any Jedi team, he works great on. The fact that he can move incredibly fast, he gets a lot of foresight, he can spread buffs from himself, he can steal buffs from the enemy team, and then use his battle meditation to spread it to your entire team at the same time. Get a huge boost to turn meter with it. This dude moves super fast, gets a lot of foresight, very annoying to deal with if you can't get him down, if you don't have unavoidable attacks. He just moves a lot. So yeah, he's good Jedi, could be better. I really do wish he had a unique. I wish we had a reason to use his lead. That's going to wrap it up for me here on this video. Again, if you guys want to make your own tier list, there will be a link down below in the pinned comments. But I want to hear from you guys. Do you guys agree with this list? Do you think it was good? Do you think it was bad? Do you think I got something totally wrong here? Let me know down below. As always, if you guys have enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys next time.